jury would be instructed they could not hold that against you. I know you've talked to Mr. Little and asked me those same questions in more detail now, then I'll come back to you. Okay?
Just on the record, Your Honor. State your name.
Darryl the office, Robert.
Mr. Roberts, have I gone over this this document here today with you?
Yes, sir.
And have we talked about it in the past
Yes, sir.
more than one time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you understand that you have a Fifth Amendment right not to testify in this case?
Yes, sir.
The defendant has a right in any case.
Yes,
You
sir.
understand that? But that doesn't prevent you from choosing to testify. It's your decision.
Yes, sir.
You understand that? And have you made a decision to testify in your own behalf?
Yes, sir.
And what is that decision?
To testify.
Okay, and have you and I talked about that more than one time?
Yes, sir.
All right. Can I see the form?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts, Mr. Little's handed me this assertion of your right to testify. Again, you know it is your right to make that decision. Your attorneys can give you advice on their opinion on whether you should or should not testify, but ultimately it is your call. On this assertion of the right to testify, if you are choosing to testify on your own behalf, that you have talked with lawyers on more than one occasion about this. You've been advised of the advantages and disadvantages of testifying, and you wish to assert your right to testify. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
There's this other form here about the waiver of the right to the jury assessing fine fees in excess of $50. Basically, the way it is right now, the jury would be able to set that fine. You waiving that right allows this court to meet to set that fine if there is a conviction. Is that what you want to do as well?
Yes, sir.
All right, now you turn to counsel.
Judge, there may be one more question. I'm not sure we covered it. I'll have to make sure. You understand that if you selected not to testify, that the jury could not hold that, they would be instructed not to hold that against you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
They're ready, Judge.
All right, Counsel, ready to proceed?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ready, jury?
Yes, Judge.
Judge.
Somebody just stepped in.
Oh, right. Whenever they're ready. All right, please be seated. Welcome back from lunch, yours. Glad you got the lunch today that you thought you were going to get yesterday. So, a little exercise moment. All right. Mr. Smith, call your next witness.
Sir, the defense calls Mr. Darryl Roberts.
And you solemnly swear from the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Mr. Roberts, can you state your name for the record of the jury?
Darryl Roberts,
What is your age today?
59,
And how old were you back in September the 28th, 2023?
57.
7. Are you married?
No, will.
Widow? Are you originally from Chattanooga?
No, sir.
Where are you from?
Chicago, Illinois.
You have family that lives in Chicago?
Yes.
Did you graduate from high school?
I obtained GED.
Got a GED?
Yes.
Before we continue, I want to mention a couple things or bring out a couple things. Do you have a criminal record?
Yes, sir.
Have you pled guilty in 2017, theft over $2,500?
Yes, sir.
And on the same day, guilty to violation of the motor vehicle law?
Yes, sir.
And on November the 15th in 2019, you plead guilty to crossing the guard line with contraband?
Yes, sir.
And on the same day, did you plead guilty to possession of that?
Yes, sir.
And back in 2014, did you plead guilty to theft under $500?
Yes, sir.
And did you plead guilty to theft under $500 in June of 2020?
Yes.
Why did you plead guilty to those?
Because I was guilty.
Have you ever had a jury trial before?
No, sir.
Back in September of 2023, Mr. Roberts, where did you live?
At Pat's house.
How long had you lived there prior to September 28th, 2023?
I moved in Pat's house. May the 23rd.
May.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So June,
The same year.
August. Okay. About almost 4 months.
Yes, sir.
How did you pay your rent and expenses?
I did a disability check.
Do you have a disability COPD?
And I have a couple issues.
And you have COPD as well?
Yes, sir. Emphysema.
Emphysema. Okay. Tell us about your condition of your COPD.
I have blisters on my lungs from smoking. And we have like a 30% lung capacity with the lungs.
How does that affect how you move around?
It affects my breathing, like walking up steps or walking too fast.
Are you able to run any
No,
distances?
not at all.
Not at all. On the night of September the 28th, 2023, were you outside of Patton Towers that night?
Yes, sir.
Why were you outside?
I originally came out to bring my friend, me and Mr. Houston, we share meals sometime often. And he gave me a box of Velveeta Select. And I opened up 2 cans of tuna and put like a can and a half in the Select, gave Olivia the other half. And I brought him down his food so we can have some meat. And to smoke a cigarette.
Okay. Is there any other reasons why you were outside at night?
Just to sit around with Vito, talk about the day or whatever we got to talk about.
Okay. Do you have the permission and the authorization to go out there and sit at night?
I live there, yeah. That's like our yard.
Okay. It's like your yard.
Yes.
You don't have in your apartment, you don't have a balcony or a window. Okay.
We have a window with no balcony.
Okay. And so you're able to go outside and get fresh air
Yes.
and just go outside.
Yes.
Did you go outside every night?
Most nights, yes.
Most nights.
Maybe not as late as we were out that night, but most nights.
Most nights. So that was a routine or a normal thing for you to do,
Pretty much yes, sir.
to go outside and to sit in an area where you're allowed to be.
Pretty much yes, sir.
And as a matter of fact, on that night, it's the 28th. As a matter of fact,
The question came out, then you can check it.
on September 28th, that was another, you were out there that night.
Yes, sir.
Did you have a gun?
Yes, sir.
And what kind of gun was it?
357.
Why did you have a gun?
Protection mostly.
Okay. Why would you think you would need protection?
Well, it started with, I've been shot like 3 times, twice by mistake, and once in commission of a robbery, somebody trying to take something from me. And I got shot in the foot with one of them. So when I got insurance, I got the bullet out my foot. And it just seemed like weird stuff started happening. People was, just for protection. And then I was homeless for so long. Then Patton Towers is in a bad area. Well, it used to be a bad place to be, but they trying to clean it up. But it's like protection.
Okay. Were you aware of Mr. Houston having problems out there?
Yes.
Okay. Was he attacked or threatened at some point?
Yes, sir. He was threatened once, and then a man ran up on me and him together one time.
Okay.
But the guy that ran up on us, he was really looking for some drugs and a prostitute or something. But he made that known when he came up on us. That's what he was looking for. He said, "Hey, man, I'm just looking for this and I'm just looking for that."
Okay. So you were able to understand what he was about.
Yes, sir.
What were you wearing that evening?
Jones.
You were able to defense laptop.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'm sorry. What were you wearing?
Jones.
Okay. And what were on your feet?
Slides.
Slides. And describe the slides.
Red and black. I want to say they were P-lock slides, red and black P-lock slides.
Okay. And how do you put those on?
Slides put in them.
Okay. Do they tie up?
No, sir.
Is there a heel on them?
No, sir.
Okay. When you wear pajamas and slides, do you go anywhere else? Would you, if you left?
Not normally. I don't go outside in pajamas and slides.
Okay. All right. Were you planning on going anywhere that night?
No, sir. No problem with the wind.
Just outside.
Yes.
Did you have a cup or a drink with you?
Yes.
What was that?
It was a club tail.
Okay. Did you have any drinks that night?
That was my first.
That was your first?
Yes.
Okay. Let's do. Mr. Robinson, I'm going to ask you to turn around and take a look at the video that's behind you. You see the green scroll on the bottom of the screen. You see where it says 2331?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know who the gentleman is that is sitting? Pause this for a moment. Do you know who's sitting here? Can you tell at this moment?
Looked like Christopher Wright.
Okay. Now, who is this here?
That's me.
And are these, what are you wearing?
Pajamas and slides.
Right here?
Yes.
Okay.
Match the set.
And is the time at the bottom 2331?
Is it in the middle?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Roberts, where are you going now?
To the alley to use the bathroom.
Okay.
And when I walked up, I had he go his his food.
Yes. Thank you. Do you know anything about this individual that's sitting right there? Do you see that individual sitting there?
No, I don't.
You don't know him?
No, sir.
Okay. Mr. Roberts, what time is it now?
23, 32, 52.
Okay. And do you see what's happening here?
I'm coming back to the area where I'm sitting.
Okay. Do you know this lady who's walking with the walker?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you have any interaction with her when she walked up there?
She walked up and asked if either one of us had a cigarette.
Okay. And then she turned around and started walking away?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Roberts, what time is it now?
It's 23, 34, 27.
Do you see this gentleman across the street?
Yes, sir.
Did you say anything to him?
I didn't even know him. Sir.
Okay. Mr. Roberts, at this time, remind us who you're sitting next to.
Theo and Chris. I'm sitting next to Theo and Chris is sitting with me.
Okay,
And I
now,
don't know who the other
and
person,
who is Vito?
Bill Bryant.
Mr. Houston?
Yes,
Okay. And what are you doing here?
talking.
Talking.
Yes.
Okay. Now, who is the man in blue that just stood up?
Bill
Vito,
Bryant, yes.
Mr. Houston. Okay. And do you remember what's going on here?
Not in particular.
Okay.
I know he was telling some kind of story, and he just got a, I think we was talking about women or something.
Okay.
I can't really remember. And then I think I might have just been sitting there, and I think the conversation right then might have been between Chris. When Chris was talking about something, I think I might have just been sitting there.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I was engaged in that.
Okay, Mr. Roberts, do you see the two people walking across the street on the corner?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, did you have any interaction with those folks?
No, sir.
Okay. Mr. Roberts, is that you standing up?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What time is it now?
It's 23:38:59.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Roberts, do you see the pedestrians across the street?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How many do you see?
3.
Did you have any interaction with those three people?
No, sir.
And now what I mean by interaction, did you talk to them?
Talk to him.
Yes, did you
No,
talk? Okay. You see that person crossing Georgia Avenue? Is that Georgia Avenue?
Yes, sir.
Did you see that person just
Yes,
cross? Did you talk to that person?
No, sir. I think he lives in the building, though.
You think he lives in the Patton Towers?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm sure he lives in the building.
And you see the lady with the hoodie on?
Yes, sir.
Did you talk to her?
No, sir.
Now, what time is it now?
It's 23:42.
Okay. And what are you, at this time, what are you doing when you're there?
Just sitting, relaxing, smoking something.
Okay. Are you talking to anybody?
Talking with Neil and
Okay.
Chris.
So the same thing that you've been doing for the last, since you sat down?
Yes.
So, Mr. Roberts, what time is it now?
23:45:53.
And that's on the video that we're watching.
Yes, sir.
Do you recall this moment in time?
I mean, can you clarify the question?
Well, I mean, you may not, but do you recall what's being said or what's going on here?
Not really.
Not really. Okay.
Because like he's like really talking to Chris, so
Right. When you say he's talking to Chris, are you talking about Mr. Houston?
yes.
So here, Mr. Houston and Mr. Burnett are having a discussion, and you call Mr. Burnett Chris.
Yes.
Mr. Houston, what time is it? I'm sorry, Mr. Roberts, what time is it now?
It's 23:46:38.
Yeah, and do you see these pedestrians over here?
Yes, sir.
Did you talk to them? Talk to you? No? Mr. Roberts, what time is it now on the video?
23:48:32.
And do you see Mr. Houston has set that back down on the bench or the stoop beside you?
Yes.
And then Mr. Burnett is walking away.
Yes.
And, okay. Mr. Roberts, what time is it on the tape now?
It's 23:48:52.
Okay. Do you see Mr. Wright in the video?
Yes.
Did you see him at this point that night?
No.
So it,
I mean, I might have seen him, but I just didn't pay him no attention.
Okay.
He was walking.
and in the video right now, it's advanced a couple of screens of frames. He is almost even with you. Is that correct?
Yes.
Time on here is what time?
23:48:54.
Okay. All right, I'm going to ask you a question about that. Now, did you remember anything about when he walked by at that point? Anything?
Nothing that was,
Okay, so at this point, nothing in your mind is
no.
okay. I'll ask you a question about this. Do you remember, what's the time?
It's 23:49:07.
Okay, and you see Mr. Wright extending his right arm out?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you remember him saying anything at this point?
He walked up and he said, something to the effect of, something about a nigga, what y'all doing hanging out? Niggas, what y'all niggas doing hanging out, partying? And then he stuck his arm out. I guess it was trying to be friendly or something.
Can you turn around just a little bit?
Oh, I guess he was trying to be friendly or
I
something.
want to make sure the jury picks it here. Can you tell us again what he said?
Objection asked and answered, Judge. I think everybody heard it.
This is a key part of the case, so just make sure the jury heard it and they treat it.
He walked up and he stuck his arm out and he was like, what are y'all, what's up niggas, what y'all doing partying? What y'all doing hanging out for partying? Or something like that to that effect. I know he said hanging out. So I don't know if he said, are y'all trying to party? Why are y'all partying? But he said hanging out and he said partying.
Okay.
And we was like, man, Vito was like, well, we don't do that around here, bro. Go ahead, sir, go ahead on. And I was like, yeah, go on.
Okay, let's watch a few more minutes of this and I'll ask you about that. All right, so Mr. Roberts, what time is it?
It's 23:49:26.
Okay, now Mr. Wright is still there in front of you, Mr. Houston, right?
Yes.
Do you remember anything about this specific period of time?
Nothing except that we kept telling him to go on the street.
Okay, you say we.
Both of us.
Okay,
Mr. Houston was saying it, and I was repeating it out.
okay. Were you doing anything else to him to ask him to be moving, other than just talking to him?
Waving our hand.
Wave your hands. Okay. Okay, Mr. Roberts, what time is it now?
It's 23:49:36.
All right. Anything you noticed about Mr. Wright at this point?
Not really.
Did you notice anything about his demeanor?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, you asked me, did I know he was drunk or not?
Well, that's part, yes.
I didn't know he was drunk.
You didn't know if he was drunk?
No.
Okay. All right, Mr. Roberts, what time is it now?
23:49:55.
Now, do you remember anything about this at this particular point in time? What you see on the
I can't
video?
quite remember what he's saying right here. I can't quite remember what he's saying.
Can't remember what he's saying?
Not
Okay.
really.
Did you interpret it in any way?
I mean, he wouldn't leave, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like he walked up and said, hey, my name's Chris. I'm out having a good time.
You can turn around.
Y'all want to hear or something? He walked up, the first thing that came out of his mouth was, and then it could have been a friendly nigga, but to me, it's not a difference. It's just something you don't say to people, especially people you don't know. I mean, I don't know him. So, and then in this area is full of homeless people. Like 5 blocks up the street is the kitchen, the community kitchen. People hopping out trains, getting off buses, people getting shot. And then he walks up after nobody else walked on this side of the street but him. And people in the next block going east is the post office in the federal building. And across the street, directly across the street from that is the park. And at night in the park, there's people hanging around at the park at night. So people usually walk down by the post office and then across the street. The boy Pat's house, they'll walk down to the first side. So anything that's coming down that sidewalk to me is suspect. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I would expect you to be. I wouldn't expect you out there every time.
Okay. You watch. Okay, Mr. Roberts, what time is it now?
It's 23:55.
And what is Mr. Wright doing with his left hand?
Pointing at me.
Okay, do you remember him saying anything at this point?
He told me how much he didn't like me and what he thought about me as a person.
So he told
He
you how?
told me that he did not like me
Okay.
and what he thought about me as a person.
Okay.
He told me I was a piece of shit, pretty much.
He said you were a piece of shit?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, what time is it now?
It's 23:50:09.
Do you remember him saying anything at this point?
I can't quite remember what he said right there.
Okay.
Because I mean, the only thing on my mind was like, man, it really don't make no difference. Just keep on going. Because he was leaving.
Okay, if you look now, he's turned toward you and Mr. Houston. He's got his arms up. Do you remember anything that he's saying there?
No.
Okay. Did you interpret anything from his movements or his body at this point?
He was just being aggressive.
Okay, explain that.
I mean, like I said, I have a mental health problem, so I was pointing.
Objection, Judge.
Mr. Rose, I was asking you, at this point, what is going on with you? What is going on with you right now? And
What's my mentally?
yes, yeah, what's going on?
I just want to leave. So I'm wondering what you got going on though. Like I said, it's that area of town, you don't know what to expect. You know, it's like you can't trust nothing. Period. So he wasn't leaving. Then every time he walked off, he would stop and turn around and stop and say something. So I'm just wondering what's going on with him. Really.
I mean, what would he say?
I really can't remember a lot about what he was saying, but it was more of the hand motions and the way he just kept stopping and starting. And then he used the nigga word like maybe twice. When he first walked up, he used it again down through or somewhere.
Okay. You don't remember exactly where you used it, but you heard it at least twice?
Yes.
Okay.
Thinking it was when he pointed his finger at me.
Okay. When he raised his left hand up, pointed at arm. All right. Don't say that. So he said these things to you. How do you feel? How does it make you feel?
I
What's
have a
going
problem
on?
with aggression and anger.
Objection.
Basis.
Sports prior ruling.
Ladies and gentlemen, the defendant's mentioned a couple of times about a mental health issue. He just testified about his problem with anger and aggression. That's not an official diagnosis of mental health disorder would require expert testimony to give an opinion on that. So when the defendant or any other witness talks about that and they're not qualified as an expert, you're not to take it for the truth of the matter asserted. In this particular case, we're talking about what was going on in Mr. Roberts' mind at the time. So you can only take it for that context, how he was processing things, what was going on in his own mind, but not for the truth of the matter asserted. And it continues.
So looking at the screen, Mr. Roberts, okay, I want to ask you what time it is.
It's 23:50:16.
Okay, now he's turned around. Mr. Wright's turned around the video. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. You can turn around just for a minute. You turn around toward me just for a minute. That way you can see me and the jury can see you. You have stood up at this moment in time. I'm sorry, at 23:50. Is
Yes.
that what time it says there, 23:50?
Yes.
Okay. What caused you to stand up?
I told him that, Vito told him that, man, you can fuck on up the street. I was like, yeah, man, get your ass on up the street. And then he turned around and told me to come say it to his face, boy. He said, come say it to my face, boy. Oh, bitch, you won't say that to my face, boy.
So he said, bitch, come and say it to my
No,
face,
he
boy.
said, I bet you.
Bet
I
you.
bet you won't come say it to my face.
Bet you won't come and say it to my face. And how did you feel? What happened?
I really don't remember nothing until the gunshot.
Okay.
Say the truth, honestly.
All right, so looking at the screen right now at 23:50, when you're standing up, you don't remember that?
Not really.
What? I'm going to ask you what time it is now on the clock.
23:50:20.
Do you remember this?
No,
No.
not really.
What? All right, now we can stop it. What do you remember now? You remember this?
I remember thinking to myself, damn. The gunshot, pretty much, I remember. And then after the gunshot, I turned around, I was like, in my mind, I was like, damn. I know I just didn't do this. And then in my mind, I was thinking, well, when I turn back around, this is going to be, it's not true, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be a dream. Then when I turned back around, I went and picked up my glass. And when I turned back around, he was laying on the ground. So when I walked past him, I looked down at him, he was laying there. So I just poured that rest of the plug till out of my glass and went in the building.
Okay.
And went and woke Tippy up.
All right, can you just take it back just for 4 minutes? A little further, take it back a little further. All the way to where he's sitting now. Okay. So prior to you standing up, he's said to you, he's used the N-word twice with you, correct?
Yes,
And he's told you that he didn't like you. Is that what he said?
yes, that was a piece of shit.
tell you you're a piece of shit. Okay. And when he told you that, did you have any feelings about what he was going to do or what was going to go
Vito
on?
was like, man, just get the fuck on up the street. I was like, yeah, that's well and good. Just take your ass on the street.
And why would you want to take it? Why would you want to leave?
Because for one, we sitting outside, and him walking up like that would bring the police. You know what I'm saying? Because it looked like we doing a drug transaction or something. It's like something shady going on. It's what, you know, and I'm sitting outside with the gun on me or whatever, and it's just, we don't want the trouble. We're not out there for trouble. We're just out there just to get some air, smoke a cigarette, talk, you know what I'm saying, about what happened during the day, go in the house, go to sleep, wake up, do it again next day.
His words and his actions, did they mean anything to you? Did they change your perception of what was going on?
Yes, because like I said, I don't know him. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know if he was a homeless person. I didn't know if he was a golf pro. I don't know who he is.
Okay.
He's just a person walking up to me on the street with aggressive action. To me, it's aggressive. It might not be aggressive to everybody else, but to me, it's aggressive.
Okay. So his actions made you thought were aggressive.
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor. He's leading. He's been leading for quite a while.
No, Judge, I'm not leading. I'm just.
Hang on, there's an objection. I think Mr. Little's just restating what's already been said. So yes, it's leading, but I don't think that's causing the witness to give answers that he otherwise would not have given since he's already said that testimony. So go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. So you felt he was aggressive. What did that mean to you?
I mean, it could have escalated. You know what I'm saying? Just because he walked away on me, he couldn't came back. He didn't leave. You know, he didn't keep walking. He kept stopping. So to me, that's a sign of you building yourself up to do something.
Okay. And
Makes
is
sense
that,
what I'm saying?
yes. Is that what you thought then?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay.
I mean, I don't really know what to think. I don't know if he was a UFC fighter, he got a Uzi in his pocket. I don't know what he got. You know what I'm saying? I just want him to be.
So and as you stated earlier, you felt it was escalating.
I mean, yes, it could have went to the point of escalation.
All right. Now, Mr. Roberts, after this shooting, what did you do?
Like I said, I picked up my glass, I turned around, he was still laying there. And I was angry with myself for what I done, you know what I'm saying? So I went in the building, and I was trying to wrap my mind around what just happened. So I went up there and I woke Tiffany up, I changed my clothes. I don't know what made Tiffany pick that bag up, but he walked out with the bag like that, but I didn't tell her to do that.
Okay.
And I changed my clothes. And I fixed.
Who is Tiffany?
Tiffany was somebody I met in Pat Towers that I got to be close to.
Okay, a girlfriend or
Not
close
really
to
a
her?
girlfriend, but
Okay.
we was close. Me, her, and Vito, she stayed on the third floor in front of me. Vito stayed in 311, and she stayed 309, directly below me.
You turn around right now. You turn around.
Yeah, Vito stayed in 311, and she stayed in 309, directly below me.
All right. So you changed clothes.
I changed clothes, and I went down, and I told Bill and Mama what happened. I went back up on the jacket lip.
Okay. And where did you go?
I started walking down 11th Street. I was going to walk to Brandon, back to where I was standing at before I went to Pat Towers, and somebody picked me up.
Okay. So you went to where you stayed before. And where was that?
Right behind the cookout on St. Martin's.
Is
Across the
that
street from the liquor store.
what area of town is that in?
It's in Brandon.
Brandon. Okay. Did you go into somebody's house?
No, I went in the truck. I was sleeping in the truck before I went to Pat Towers.
Okay. So before you went to Pat Towers, where did you live?
I lived at that house.
Objection, this is irrelevant, Your Honor.
What's relevant to Mr. Little?
Well, Judge, it's where you went after the shooting. I'm just
I thought you asked like where he lived. What was your objection? What question was your objection to?
Where did he live before moving to Patton Towers? It doesn't matter.
Well, I know the judge. I mean, it's just the defendant testifying.
Explain the relevance.
Okay, he is in Patton Towers, which is low income, place for disabilities, place for people who don't have money, disabilities. And prior to that, he was homeless.
Objection, Your Honor.
So,
Yes.
pardon?
Overruled.
Thank you. So in Brainerd, this place you went to, that was where you used to, you didn't actually tell us about it.
When I first started, I was homeless. They had nowhere to go, nowhere safe to go. Because I really don't do the kitchen. It's too much, you know. So a friend of mine that lived there, I've been one of the people for like 30 years, you know. And the lady said I could stay in the shed today. But with the emphysema, the mold in the air was making me sick. So I started sleeping in the truck in the front, his truck in the front. So I went back there.
So that's where you went back that night.
Yes.
Okay. And then, so did you tell us what happened after you went back to the truck?
Well, I went back and I was explaining to Fred, his name Fred, I was explaining to Fred what had happened. And I took a hammer and I beat the barrel out the gun and put it in a bag, put it in a trash bag and throw it in the dumpster and cook out.
Okay.
And I laid down, went to sleep, we got a phone call this morning from the detective saying they need to talk to me. So I got up and I got on the bus and I rolled around for a minute on the bus. Then I texted my brother and I told him I needed some money. Well, I didn't tell him I need no money. I just told him I had fucked up. See,
Sure.
I told him I messed up and smoked somebody.
Sure.
And I told him I need to get away. And he was like, "You want to go to Gracie? Gracie is my sister. She stayed up by DC." And I was like, "No, I don't want to go. I just need some money to get another phone so I can talk to people and some money so I can move around because I ain't had money to eat or nothing like that." So then I was trying to figure out what to do with my cat.
Okay. You got a pet cat.
Yes.
Was that at Patton Towers?
Yes.
Yeah, just a moment, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Roberts, can you turn around and take a look at that and tell me what time it is on the screen?
23:50:15.
Okay. And this is just before you stand up, is that correct?
Yes. Sir.
Yeah. You have already said you felt that he was aggressive
Yes.
through his actions
Yes.
and the things he said to you.
Yes. And it's just his hand movements, just
Right.
bite right the street.
Did you feel like you could run away?
Not no flag.
Okay. And could you run?
No, I can't run here
Why is that?
because of the everything.
Just a moment, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
That's all I have a question.
Mr. Cross.
Prosecution. Sir, you heard Mr. Burnett's testimony.
Yes, sir.
You could see him with the red clothing and the backpack on the video that counsel just played for you.
Yes, sir.
He didn't hear a racial slur. Did he?
I don't know what he heard. I can't tell you what he heard.
You heard his testimony. Did he ever say, I
He said he
heard?
didn't hear it.
Did he ever say, I heard the man with the blue shirt utter a racial slur?
No.
You also heard the testimony of Mr. Houston Bryant, right?
Yes, sir.
The man who was sitting next to you on the screen.
Yes, sir.
the man who described your relationship as being like family. Right?
Yes, sir.
You not once heard him utter the words, "I heard a racial slur."
No, sir.
The only source of the information that Mr. Wright allegedly walked up to you and said in words, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to hang out? Is you.
That's not what he said.
The only person who said anything regarding a racial slur being uttered by Mr. Chris Wright is you. Correct?
Yes, sir.
But your testimony, as I understand it, is that Chris walked up, said the racial slur, and Mr. Bryant Houston responded with saying, "We don't do that, get out of here." That's what you said a few minutes ago, isn't it?
He walked up and stuck his arm out.
And uttered the racial slur.
Yeah.
Let me answer the question.
Vito told him, get on up the street. He said, "Sir, we don't do that around here."
Right, in response to him uttering the racial slur and sticking his hand out. Right?
I'm not sure what you're asking. I mean, if you're asking me, did he hear him say that? I can't tell you if he heard him say that. Because he was, like he said, he was in here, he was just concentrating on what he was saying.
The man in the blue shirt walked up, stuck his hand out, and uttered a racial slur. That's your testimony, right?
Mr. Wright walked up, stuck his arm out, and made a racial slur.
Correct. And in response to that, Mr. Houston Bryant said, "We don't do that, get out of here."
That's not what his response was. His response was him stopping, period. He stopped in our space. And that's why Mr. Houston told him to go on the street.
You also said that you didn't notice Mr. Wright's demeanor while he was standing there talking with you by the stairs.
Demeanor being, if he was drunk or not,
No, his demeanor. You were asked by counsel demeanor, and you said no. Isn't that right?
I'm not sure what you're asking. When you said demeanor, he asked me, did I know? I said I didn't know if he was drunk or not. So,
And you got upset because he wouldn't leave.
yes. I got upset because I got upset because he called me a piece of shit.
But he hadn't called you a POS until after he was walking off. That's what your testimony was,
His
correct?
finger at me,
As he was walking away.
walking away, standing still calling me a piece of shit.
You were upset because he wouldn't, quote, "get off this street."
No. I
You
was
didn't
upset
say that?
because he stopped in front of us and wouldn't leave. We told him to get on up the street, not off the street. It's a public street, you can be on the one.
That's right. Anyone can be there any time of the day.
Right.
It's a public sidewalk adjacent to your apartment building. Right?
Yes.
You don't own it. Do you?
Technically, by Patton Towers being a low-income building, the sidewalk is considered to be our yard. So technically, Patton is part of Patton Towers property. If I'm gonna sleep on the side of that building, that's why the camera works. If I'm gonna sleep on the side of that building, they call the police are gonna come take me to jail, and Patton Towers gonna press charge.
It's a public sidewalk.
I mean, yeah,
Correct?
yes, sir.
It's not your sidewalk, right?
Never said it was, sir.
You don't get to keep somebody from entering into it, right?
No, sir.
Anyone can walk up. Right?
Yes, sir.
Have a conversation.
I did it on that one right there. I mean, I should be able to choose who I have a conversation with. If you talk to yourself, that's going good, but I should be able to choose who I have a conversation with.
And at 233600, counsel asked you what y'all were talking about, Mr. Bryant, yourself, and Mr. Houston, and you responded talking about women.
Maybe. Talking about
Counsel then went through a long list of individuals who walked past. Do you recall that?
yes.
Specifically at 2337, these individuals that are walking along the pickle barrel. Correct?
Yes.
Opposite side of the street,
Yes, sir.
well over twice the distance that you were from Mr. Wright when you got up off the stairs.
Yes, sir.
Correct? And as they crossed onto Market Street, this was yours and Vito's reaction. See yourself pointing at them?
Was not pointing at them.
Okay. Moving on to 234010. Council asked you about this group of individuals. We'll go back just a couple seconds. As they crossed onto Market Street. That's what you and Vito were doing. Looking in their direction and pointing.
I can't see you looking over it really, but I was pointing, but I wasn't talking about them.
Okay. Then at 23, 40, 47. Zoom out. There's the girl in the sweatshirt crossing the street. You see her? And as she crosses to the pickle barrel, that's you shouting at her.
I didn't shout at her.
It's not you shouting at her, just like that wasn't you pointing at the other people.
I wasn't shouting at her and I wasn't pointing over there.
When did you get your pistol, sir?
In 2020, 2020 or 2021. 2021.
After your initial interaction with Mr. Christopher Wright at the stairs, he walked away. Isn't that right?
Yes.
But you stood up. Right?
Talking about the last time when you turned around and called me a boy.
What we see on the screen at 9:28:23, you stood up, didn't you?
The last time you called me a boy.
You stood up, didn't you?
When you called me a boy. Yes, I did.
And you walked towards the man that you couldn't run away from. Right?
Yes.
Each step bringing you closer and closer to the person that you claimed you were scared of. Right?
Yes.
And you wanted to get close to Mr. Wright, didn't you?
I don't remember what happened after I got up.
Well, you got close enough to get your .357 Magnum 1 to 2 feet from his face, according to Dr. Cogswell, right?
Yes.
You wanted to get close enough to make sure he could see it, right?
No. I don't remember what happened.
Isn't it true, sir, that you previously said that you walked up to the victim with the gun, the alleged victim looked at the gun and told him, and looked at you, and that he didn't flinch?
Yes, I said this.
So you do remember it.
Yes.
You do remember him not flinching.
Yes. When I walked up on me, he didn't move.
When you
Yeah.
walked up on him, the
Yes.
part that you don't remember, you now remember. That help refresh your memory?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember that part, yeah.
Sure. So you wanted to make sure he could see it, right?
No, I wouldn't say that.
You wanted to get close enough where you wouldn't miss, right?
No.
Sir, you'd agree that when you stood up, you immediately began reaching for your gun.
Yes.
That was your choice,
Yes.
a decision.
Even though I didn't know what was going on, yes.
That gun was actually hidden under a red shirt. Isn't that right?
Yes.
To get your hand on the gun, you had to move that shirt out of the way, right? That was a decision, wasn't
Yes.
it? A choice.
But the conscious decision was yes.
It was a choice, wasn't it, sir?
And it's a choice of decision.
You drew your gun, right?
Yes.
That was also your decision, right?
Yes. I did.
A decision to escalate a verbal disagreement.
I'm not sure.
You
I feel
don't
like
believe that pulling a
Can
gun.
you be allowed to answer?
Yeah, please.
Okay, gentlemen, let him finish the answer.
Sure.
I'm not sure where you're trying to go with this, but as I said before, and I'm limited to what I can say. And I'm limited because I'm just limited to what I can say. But as I said before, the last thing I remember him looking at me. And I remember his face when the gun went off. But as far as me getting up and mentally thinking that I was gonna shoot this man, I did not think that.
You would agree, sir, that pulling a gun after a verbal altercation is an escalation of the situation, right?
I still can't answer that question honestly, because I'm limited to what I can say.
And after you chose to stand up, you took a step closer to Chris Wright, didn't
I
you?
took, evidently, I took 9 steps going to the video. But it didn't feel like 9 to me, because I don't remember.
Each one of those 9 steps, I think if you count them, it's actually 11, brought you closer and closer to Chris Wright, didn't they?
Yes,
Of course, this being after he had already walked away from you.
he stopped and turned around and said, call me a boy, yes.
Each step, a choice to bring yourself closer.
I mean, like I said, I can't answer the question honestly, because I'm limited to what I can say.
And after the gun was in your hand, you pointed it somewhere, didn't you?
According to the video, yes.
You didn't point it in the air, did you? You
Pointed
didn't
at
point
him.
it at the ground,
It was pointed at him,
and specifically at his head.
yes.
You chose to point a .357 Magnum at Chris Wright's head.
You keep saying chose, but I'm telling you that I didn't choose to do that. Only thing I chose to do was come sit outside with my friend and get some air. That's what I chose to do. I chose to carry a firearm, and I'm not denying that. I'm not denying the fact that I shot this man. But what I am contesting is the fact that it wasn't premeditated. I did not think when I got up to shoot that man. I don't know, like I said, I'm limited to what I can say because you put a limit on that. But I'm limited.
And after you pointed your 357 at Chris Wright's head, we see it up on the screen right now. You stopped your forward progress, right?
Yes.
You waited for a second and a half.
I don't know that.
We can watch. Right?
Yes.
You adjusted and squared up to Chris Wright. Correct?
That's what you're saying. I don't know. I guess the video show I had too, yeah. So I guess so.
He was just standing there. Right? He was just standing there.
Oh, you asking me a question?
Right?
Yes.
And you were standing there looking at Chris Wright. Correct?
Yes.
The man you smoked, wasn't it?
I wouldn't say that. It's kind of cruel to say that, but yeah, the man I shot this.
Document projector, Your Honor. Your choice of words.
Yes.
The guy you smoked.
Definitely. My choice of word.
Prosecution right now. In fact, sir, having now watched the video, he didn't move at all until the bullet fired from your gun penetrated his skull and demolished his brain. Isn't that right?
That's correct.
And after you shot Chris Wright in the head, you walked back to the stairs, right?
Correct.
You walked past Bryant Houston.
Yes.
You walked and picked up your cup.
Yes.
You walked back towards Chris Wright's body, correct?
Yes.
You didn't dial 911,
No.
did you?
I didn't have a phone, but I didn't dial.
At any point, did
No.
you attempt
No, I
to
didn't.
render any
No, I didn't.
aid to Mr. Chris Wright, who you could just, use your words, smoked?
No, I didn't.
You simply threw out your drink and walked into the building, right?
Yes.
And that was your first drink of the night, correct?
Yes.
So you weren't under the influence of alcohol, right?
Not impaired.
Right, so you had the clearness of mind that you would have from not consuming alcohol.
Again, I can't answer that question honestly, because the clearness of mind from alcohol is not the same as the clearness of mind that I get from the trauma I've been with. So, I mean, I can't bring that up, so.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I'm going to instruct you that this is the fourth time I believe a mental health issue has been mentioned. Mr. Roberts himself is not limited from saying anything about his experiences with mental health, but they're not to be taken for the truth of the matter asserted. They're only to be used in your decision process to determine his state of mind at the time, not whether or not what he says he thinks he has, so I'm not told he has, is actually true. Okay? So, Mr. Roberts, with that, you may testify as you wish.
Thank you.
And after you got upstairs to your room, you changed out of your red long sleeve shirt.
And I was young pants.
Approach the witness, Ron.
Yes, sir. For your report.
Sir, I'm handing you what's been marked for identification as Exhibit 17. Do you recognize the person in that photograph?
That was me. So,
Does it fairly and accurately depict what you were wearing before you went downstairs?
Yes.
Does it fairly and accurately depict what you were wearing after the events that unfolded in front of Patton Towers?
Yes.
Your Honor, I move to admit into evidence Exhibit 17.
17.
For number 18, do you recognize the person shown in that?
Yes, we can.
And does it fairly and accurately depict the clothing that you were wearing when you left Patton Towers on the 28th of September 2023?
Except the jacket. I was still in the building.
Still in the building on this?
Yes,
This
I
is the
went-
clothes that you changed into?
I went downstairs after that. I changed.
Move to admit into evidence Exhibit 18.
Exhibit 18.
You also took off your plaid pants, right?
Yes.
And you removed your red and black Puma shoes,
Yes.
right? And you changed into a red tank top, right?
Yes.
Basketball shorts
Yes.
and white Nike slides.
Red Nike slides.
I'm sorry, red and white Nike slides.
Yes.
And all of your other clothes were taken by Tiffany Hawkins somewhere else.
Yes. I guess.
You don't know where they went,
No.
but you kept your gun,
Yes.
even though you had just dispatched the threat. You kept it.
Yes. I destroyed it.
You kept it for the sole purpose of destroying evidence of your crime.
I mean, yes, but I didn't think about it like that.
You knew the police would be coming, right?
Yes.
You knew that there was a dead person on the sidewalk, yes?
Yes.
And you knew that they would try to figure out where the shooter lived.
Yes, sir.
You could have left it in your apartment, right?
No.
You could not leave it in your apartment.
I mean, why would I leave it somewhere when somebody pick it up? The clothes disappeared, the gun might disappear too, so. I did what I thought was best to do with the gun, which was destroy it. Maybe I should have turned it in, destroyed, but destroyed it.
That was your conscious choice, wasn't it?
That was my decision, yes.
Your decision. And sir, when you left your apartment, you pushed the button on the 6th floor elevator to the lobby, correct?
Yes.
But you didn't take the elevator.
When I left that time, I went to the fourth floor. I didn't press the button to go to the lobby.
You pushed the 6th floor lobby button,
To
correct?
go down, and I went to the fourth floor.
Right, but you didn't get onto the elevator. Did
Yes,
you?
I did. Like I did.
Right there you did?
Yes,
You're sure of that?
yes. So my regulation did. Again, I'm sorry, you might be right. I might have did change my mind and walk down the steps. But I know I went down to the fourth floor. I know that for sure, because I came back up and I put on the jacket and I left the building period. So I might have decided not to use the elevator.
You pushed the button, sir. Right?
Yes. Yeah, I probably did. Change my mind.
Yeah. Despite the various ailments you described, like your emphysema, your COPD, which you described on direct as making it difficult for you to take stairs, you took stairs.
Down, yes.
And then you fled the scene after you went to the 4th floor, right?
I came back up, got a jacket, then I left.
And when you went down to the 4th floor, you got a fresh drink in hand.
Yes.
And then you began your run.
I was in my walk, yes.
You fled the scene.
I left it.
Your decision. One moment, Judge.
Sir.
Nothing else?
Redirect.
Mr. Roberts, do you remember having a traumatic event back in 2013?
Yes, sir.
What was it?
I was staying at the Economy Lodge on Burner Road, which is
That's what we use.
If you said we're going to give a court report code. Someone else need a break, by the way? I think that will be in recess for 10 minutes, be back at 9 o'clock, says here.
Thank you.